Welcome to the Charlevoix Stories Project, a continuation of the Charlevoix oral tradition, a legacy of Charlevoix stories that were begun back in 2007. My name is Ann Kelly. The videographer for today is Rick Pierpont of Rick Pierpont Productions in Harbor Springs, but we are at the Charlevoix Library in Charlevoix, Michigan. Today we have the pleasure of talking with Angie Supernaw, who has a unique perspective of reflecting back on over 10 decades of life in Charlevoix. At 104, she is still a vital and enthusiastic member of the community. She plays bridge with her friends, she enjoys her computer, she's done sewing, she's really an amazing person. Angie's especially proud of her family, her two sons, Scott and Sam. Scott, for 35 years, has been a director of a tour company called Took Tours, based in Connecticut. As a result of his participation in that company, Angie and her late husband Bill were able to take many wonderful trips. Her son Sam stayed locally, and he became a CPA, and as a matter of fact, served as mayor of Charlevoix from 1980 to 1983. She's very proud of her kids and her grandchildren. And we're going to talk to her today and remember back, starting at the beginning. Angie's beginning started in Norwood Township in September, so many years ago, 104 years ago, 8th of 1912. So take it from there, Angie. Tell us a little bit about what, you don't remember being born, but you know the story, and you know about your parents. You could tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I was born in Norwood Township. Of course, at that time, Norwood was really a more active place than Charlevoix. There was a huge sawmill out there, and so that's where all the activity was. There was a Catholic church out there. There was a hotel. There was a grocery store. And many men came to Norwood from the southern part of the state to work in the lumber mills. I mean, evidently there wasn't that much work in the downstate. So that they would come up and stay in the hotel and take part in the activities. There was at the Catholic Church, they started a procedure of the priest would serve a real big breakfast every Sunday after Mass. It was one way of his making money. I mean, money was quite scarce then.
Rather than passing a basket?
Yeah,
Okay.
rather. Anyway, Bill's grandpa and grandpa lived there, and the grandpa wanted to take part in this breakfast that all the men were going after Mass. So, and of course, she evidently wasn't Catholic, so he would stop and have a great big breakfast and then go home, and he wouldn't eat the grandma's breakfast, and she didn't like that. So I think that's where the split came. There are several, quite a few Supernaws Catholic, but the ones on Bill's side, she said he had to make a choice between the church or her. So he left the Catholic Church.
Okay.
My dad was a farmer.
Oh, in Norwood.
Yeah,
Or
right.
your dad. And your mom was at home with kids.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I was born in Norwood in 1912. I don't know exactly when they moved to Charlevoix, but I started at school in Charlevoix. So my mother didn't like farming, and so my dad went to something else, and so we moved into Charlevoix. And I started school.
So that's when you moved at age 5, when you were going to start kindergarten.
Yeah, I started at the Lincoln School, which it was formerly the American Legion. There was a Lincoln School, and on the south side and on the north side was an exact school called the Washington School. The school had 2 rooms, the kindergarten, first grade, and second and third grade. And then when you got through the 3rd grade, you went to the valley and joined all the 4th graders down there.
And that was
So,
here, right?
Yes, that's right here, where this location. So that's where I went to school after that.
So by that time, you would have been in 4th grade. At that
4th
time,
grade, and I went
this
to
was the kindergarten room, but you were already in 4th grade.
yeah.
Did they sell it for him?
Yes, they got it.
And what did he do then?
He worked on a sailboat. I mean, they used to do all like we used trains. I mean, like I imagine that's how they shipped all the lumber from out at Norwood on ships, because the hotel was built. Well, it was quite a large hotel built there, and then there were piers in Lake Michigan where ships would come in and haul the lumber out.
When you were going to school here and you were in the elementary, middle, and high school, so we had talked about some of the activities that you might have done. We've talked a little bit about sledding and skiing and
Oh yeah, we used
dances, parties.
we used to, we had an ice rink. We'd do the ice rink, and we played basketball. My dad made me skis out of a wooden barrel. The round part of the wooden barrel and put a strap on for your foot, and that's what we used for skiing.
And then you went out to Belvedere on the
Yeah,
hills.
the only hills
The golf course.
there wasn't such a thing as a ski hill. I mean, Mount Sabe. It was we'd go out to the Belvedere where there was a little hill that we could ski down, and also at the Chicago Club there was a little hill there that we skied down. One time we went skiing and we walked from across Round Lake.
You did?
Yes, we'd been skiing at the Chicago Club, and when I told my parents that, they hit the
Hopefully
rough, they said, "Don't ever do that again."
Hopefully that was one of the colder winters.
In cold winters, there evidently were no open waters. So
That's a
we
good
made it anyway.
So when you were by high school, did you ever work in the summers?
There wasn't that much work.
Probably.
I mean, there wasn't.
You had plenty of work when you graduated from high school and
Oh
went
yeah.
on to.
Oh yeah.
The Winter Festival, did that take place when you were in high school or afterwards?
In high school.
Well, let's go to that next. Because
Well,
that was
the
kind of-
Winter Festival was just something. I mean, they just had sled races and bobsled races, and they also had a jump, a ski jump. It was out at the Mount Saba, and halfway down, it isn't where the ski hill is now. It's on this side where you first drive in. The ski hill was quite steep, and halfway down the ski hill, they built a platform that they'd ski out on and then fly through the air.
Oh my gosh. And I
Yeah.
hope they had better than wooden skis made out of barrels
Yes,
to do that.
yes.
You weren't doing that, were you?
No, I wasn't doing that. That was a long time ago. There weren't very many people that did it.
No, probably not. That's
No.
always been sort of an elite sport, hasn't it,
Right,
for
yeah,
expense and everything.
Yeah.
But the Winter Festival, you said, sort of preceded the
Oh.
Nation Festival, because they didn't really have the
And
Nation.
yeah, it
then.
was just everybody had a skating race, or they had a sled race, or and it was. I had a picture, and I don't know where it went, but for instance, the throne for the Queen was a great big snowplow. You know, the snowplow at that time were those blades on those were as high as the truck was.
So that was the thrill.
And that's where I remember having this picture. It was of me and several other girls standing on this bumper of this snowplow. That was our throne.
Yeah, that was quite an honor. We have a picture of Angie as the queen of the Winter Festival here, and we see you holding your skis right now. So after high school then, we're going to take you to Howell's School of Business in Muskegon. So how is it that you went there?
Because my sister lived there, and it was all that we could afford at that time. I mean, I could stay with her and go to school.
And that's where you started pursuing the career, because as soon as you graduated for that or came back with your certificate or whatever it was,
Right.
you worked for 30 years. You know, Angie, we need to backtrack just a second, because we were talking about what kids did back in the days, like when you were in middle and high school. And you told me a real interesting thing about Hooker's Garage. I think that would be interesting for your kids to know.
Well, it was located where Olson's is. And it was supposedly a garage, but I mean, they didn't repair cars, but they let resorters store their cars there in the summertime. Then on the back of Hooker's, that was the front part of the building. The back part, they had horses and riding horses, and they'd have probably 8 or 10 of them there that they kept. That I mentioned that it was a big thing for the young kids to go to Hooker's real early in the morning, because then they could ride one of these horses to the paddock, which the paddock was up on the north side on the corner of Prospect and Michigan. And it was a nice grassy area, and it had a white fence around it. They'd take the horses there. The kids would ride them up there, and then the summer people would come there and rent them for riding. And then
that was probably a big thrill to
it
do that,
was a big thrill for the kids to be able to ride them from there.
Yeah.
And then the front part, they stored the summer people's cars right next door to that towards Bridge Street was a rooming house, and many chauffeurs came up for the summer, and they of course came to drive the car for the summer people, and also Hookers evidently had a telephone or connection with the chauffeurs that the summer people would call Hookers and say they'd want such and such a chauffeur to come and pick them up at such a time. The people came by train.
Oh, yeah, to the depot.
Yeah.
Their trunks brought up by PD.
Yeah.
What was his name that brought the trunks up in his wagon?
Oh, I can't
Ross.
remember.
PD Ross, I think his
Ross,
name was.
Ross, yeah.
And so, yeah, what did you all think about the summer people at the resorters? I mean, you really led separate lives.
Oh,
so.
absolutely separate.
Yeah.
A lot of them brought their help with them. I mean, people would love to have work for them, but a lot of them brought their help up. And at that time also, a business that was going on, there was no laundry, and so there were several people in Charlevoix that made their home a laundry. The summer people would bring their dirty clothes or sheets and so forth, and people would do them and deliver them back. Everybody tried to do anything to make money.
I'm sure.
Because there was absolutely no work.
Right.
My dad did, and of course the boats were laid up in the wintertime, but at a certain time in the winter, well, it was always cold, and the lakes would always freeze over. And so he got jobs lots of times with cutting ice.
Oh, sure.
They'd, regular machines that would go out on Lake Charlevoix and cut into squares. And then in the summer, they stored it in a building, I think in sawdust. I don't know how that would keep it from melting,
I've heard
but
that too. Yeah.
there would be a drayman that would carry the ice around that people would
Was that for their
say-
ice boxes or to?
yeah, ice box,
Oh.
not electricity. It was
So
just,
the milkman came, the ice man came.
yeah.
Probably a fuel of some sort,
Yeah.
coal or something.
and one of the one fun that we kids had when the ice dray would come by, when they chopped the ice away, there'd be slivers fall off. We'd all be picking those up and sucking on them for ice cream.
The original snow cones.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Think,
fun.
think of all the germs they were eating. They were still alive.
So we should get to you and Bill were high school sweethearts. You went to school all through, and you first dated when you were a sophomore and he was a senior, I believe, right?
Uh-huh.
Wedding bells followed. You were married in 1938.
Right.
Tell me what Bill did. Did we talk
He was
about this already?
postmaster.
He was a postmaster.
Mhm.
Okay, and at that time, were you working with the insurance agency?
Mhm.
So the two of you were working hard, but you managed to have a couple of kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Scott first.
Scott first, and then Sam.
He was
right.
born in 1940. Sam was born in 1942.
Okay, so here we are at the Depression, and enter Bill getting drafted. Tell about that.
Oh.
Boy, there you are, a young mom.
I don't know if you're familiar with how they, during the war, all the eligible men were numbered. They had a number. Unluckily, my Bill got a very low number. And of course, the war got worse and worse and worse. I mean, they took all the 18-year-olds and then all maybe the older ones, and then maybe some that were just married. But and they were so desperate that Bill was 33 years old, married with 2 kids, and he was drafted. They needed men so bad
Wow,
that even in that situation, he was drafted.
that must
And-
have been really heart-wrenching
Oh,
for you.
yeah, it was. I mean,
Yeah.
he had kind of a little limp. And he said, I'm not worried about being drafted. He said, then tell me to jump on one foot and then the other not fall down on that one leg. And when he went for his physical, they said, oh, the Army would do it good.
Oh, great. Well, you said that
And so they drafted him.
At
He
least they
was gone
didn't-
for 2 years.
At least they didn't give him a gun, like you said, that he was able to do electrical
Right.
work and things like that. But he was shipped out.
Oh, right.
Germany
Immediately.
or
He went to
something,
boot camp and immediately sent overseas.
What was it like when he was gone?
Well, I got $60 a month from them. And my parents lived here, and they were a big help. And I got a job working at Fochman's gas station, so I had a little extra money. And talking about, we had bought our house by that time.
On Bridge Street, or the one
On
in
Bridge Street,
Okay,
on Bridge Street. And one summer, when Bill was gone, I moved in with my mother and dad and rented our house for the summer for some chauffeur, just anything to make ends meet. Things were rough then.
Well, I guess so. So when he came back, you said you had already bought the house, the hip roof, whatever you were talking about, out in Ironton.
Oh, out at the cottage.
The cottage.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
you were going to, you were going
Oh
to.
no, we bought that after he came back from
After
the war.
he came back, okay.
Yeah.
And how soon after that then did you get that house moved to Sequanota where you put it
Oh,
and it still remains?
I don't know how long it took. It was a house. What I call a hip roof. I mean, the roof had 4 sides to it.
And we have a
Anyway,
picture
there
of
was a
that, I
man
think,
out
too.
in Pine Point that was building these houses, and Pine Point was growing then. Then evidently he built 2 or 3, and then I must have run out of money or something. But anyway, he had one that the ground floor was all done, and the 2x4s at on the sides was in, and I think the roof was in, and we bought that I think for $100. And so we tore that apart and hauled it from Pine Point to Sequanota, right across town. So I imagine it took us a couple of years. I can't remember, but we had a lot of friends.
That helps.
Yeah, there was a picnic every weekend.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, they'd all.
Was it sort of like raising the barn?
Yeah,
kind of thing?
yeah. They'd all come and
Sure.
bring their food, and I'd all pull nails out of boards and so forth.
Yeah.
And it eventually got built.
So-
It's still being used by
By your family. For 65 years it's been there,
65
hasn't it?
years.
You and Bill were golfers, and you had a job at one time at Charlevoix City Course where you learned
Right.
to play golf, right?
Right.
And Bill was a golfer too.
Yeah, right.
So you enjoyed that sport so much that you became a champion, right?
Right.
Oh, were you both champions the same year?
One year we both were.
Was there any competition there? Did you ever play together there?
Well, he'd had competition, but I didn't have a lot of competition because not many women played golf. Besides that, not many local people played golf. I mean, it cost $350, which was a lot of money at that time to play golf. But of course, I could play free, so that's why. I guess that's why I was a champion, because I was the only one that was able to play golf.
Now, were you really good at driving or the short game? What was your specialty? You name it, huh?
You name it, yeah.
You name
It's
it.
a fun thing to do.
Oh, I guess so. You'll have to give me some lessons.
That course was built and owned by Chicago Club. And then of course, it was later years, the Belvedere was built. Well, of course, that cut the business in half, or even more than half, at the Chicago Club. Of course, if everybody wanted to play the Belvedere, the new, beautiful golf course, so the business just went to pieces, and so they gave it to the city of Charlevoix for $1. Well, the city operated it a very few years, and it was just too expensive. So then that's when they cut it down to 9 holes.
Oh, it was 18.
Oh yes, it was 18.
Where was the back 9?
Oh,
Over by McSaba?
out by Bergman Center.
Okay.
That was some of the holes there.
Okay.
I guess now they sure wish that they had 18, they could have used it, but at that time it was too expensive for the city to keep 18 going.
I guess.
With the Belvedere going, all summer people played there.
So you have 2 very successful sons. There
Right.
is Scott, who is a consultant now for
Tauk Tours.
Tours, which also does river cruises and does a variety of cruises and everything. And is that how you and Bill were able to travel when you first traveled? Because you
Right.
went to Southeast Asia, didn't you, and India?
And
Why don't you tell
Yeah.
about some of those wonderful trips?
I couldn't tell. I can't tell you about those.
It was India and
How
where
about the
else?
first
Oh.
one? Tell us about the first one you took. The first one that went overseas. Tell us about that one.
Japan.
Where did
The
you go
first
first?
one when
Yeah.
I went overseas.
Yeah, where'd you go?
Well, I mean, Scott gave it to us. I mean, he, and we went. I think we flew from New York to. I can't remember now where we landed, and then from there to India, and then we traveled the whole length of India. He had to call on all of Madras and way down to Point.
Did you
That-
ride an elephant?
Yeah,
Did you?
that was very bumpy.
I It was. I'd love to have a picture of you
Yeah.
on all of them.
Oh, it just threw you back and forth when you're on it.
Now, the picture that's down there of you and Bill, is that one from
India,
from India
Yeah.
too? But you also went to Japan and others.
Thailand.
Thailand.
Yeah.
Okay.
My that's where my granddaughter and husband live in Hong Kong
Really?
right now.
What are they doing there?
She works for duty-free shops,
Oh, that
DFS.
should be a prosperous business. You see those in every area.
She travels all the time.
Exciting. So you have, okay, and then we'll get to Sam too, because he's an accountant here in town.
Right.
Probably busy, very busy right now.
Very busy,
Yeah.
But he's sold, he's sold the majority of his business to his son.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But Sam,
So young
just
Sam.
a kid, young Sam is very busy. And Sam Sr., he has a few, just enough to keep him busy.
So we are entering into, the present, and you still actively do a lot of things. You play,
Not anymore.
not a lot anymore, but you did a lot of sewing,
Yeah.
and you learned that
Yeah.
early on, and made a lot of quilts,
Oh, yeah.
but lately,
I used to make my own clothes in high school.
did you?
Mm-hmm.
So then in your later years, you were just doing projects for the church
Church
bazaars,
bazaars
and those little pillowcase dresses for,
just things that were
yeah,
fun.
yeah. And bridge, that's a big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah. You're still playing bridge right now. Do you still
Right.
play on the computer as well?
Right.
Okay. What, do you have email and stuff on your computer?
Yeah, right.
Look at you.
I keep track of my great grandchildren by that way.
Oh,
they
that's
they send pictures all the time.
Yeah. So how many, you have 4 grandchildren?
I have 4 grandchildren,
Uh-huh.
2 great 10.
2 great-grandchildren. Do you get together with them very often? Or?
No, my
Because Scott lives in the east.
my son and his son live in Charlevoix.
Right.
And my other grandson lives in Traverse City. Well, I don't see so much of Scott and Chris now. They live in Connecticut. But previous to my being unable to travel, I used to spend all my winters with Scott and Chris
In New York?
in Connecticut.
In Connecticut. Okay. It's kind of nice to have people living in interesting
Oh,
places
yeah.
that you can go visit. How do you keep up with the news a lot on
No.
TV, or do you try to block it out?
No.
Because it's not so great these days.
I
was wondering. We talked a little bit about politics, and I think I asked you who your
Yeah.
favorite president
Well,
was.
I
Tell
just
us.
said I think Roosevelt was the best
Yeah.
because of Social Security.
There you go. We don't want anyone
That
to
saved us all.
We don't want anyone to take that away. So you
No.
don't have any idea about the new presidential people
no.
that are blowing their horns and arguing so much right now, huh?
No,
You don't care.
no, I don't care.
So did you have a chance to have anybody come visit here that was, politically involved? Did you remember? I mean, they came to Bayview a lot.
No,
Did anybody ever come here?
I don't think any well-known
Okay.
people have come here.
Now, did you go to Petoskey at all, or you pretty much stayed in Charlevoix?
I stayed in Charlevoix. I had to get rid of my car when I got 90, so I go every week and have my hair done by the bus.
That's a wonderful transportation
Sure,
mode, isn't
yeah,
it? Where do you get your hair done?
At Birdie's.
At Birdie's. That's
Uh-huh.
been there a long time, hasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Well, she did a very nice job in your hair. We'll have to tell her that she has made you photo ready.
Scott, there's another thing that I was very proud of. Scott gave the senior commencement address at 19.
Here in Charlevoix?
Yes.
Wonderful. In the 90s? Maybe?
I think. Let's see. I can't remember the exact date.
I don't think I have that information,
no.
but, so he asked, did they ask him then to come back to give the address?
Well, yeah, he was long gone. I mean, he was in the travel business then.
So that was interesting for them to have someone who had been successful come back and talk to the graduating class.
Yeah,
Great. Well, I'm sure you're really proud of your family. And
I am.
your children, grandchildren, and now great-grandchildren. And we're
Right.
proud of you, Angie. You have an inspiration to all of us, for sure.
My dad always had a garden. Even if he didn't have the land around our house where we lived, he would find someplace he could rent or something. So he always had garden. So, and my mother canned things, and my mother she sewed, and we used all the food that she raised.
Do you remember when the castle came and they built that? And
Oh yeah, my dad worked. Yeah, my dad worked out at Loeb Farms.
Yeah, tell me
Loeb
what happened
Farms.
with
Yeah,
Loeb.
my dad worked out there.
Okay.
What did
Yeah.
he do? It was a dairy farm, right?
It was a dairy farm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They had cows, lots of cows. I mean, they even had ice cream where they made ice cream out there for time, and they had a baseball team out there.
I didn't know that.
Well, it was a very prosperous farm. And I remember one time him taking us out and showing us the horses. Mr. and Mrs. Loeb had a home out there. And at Christmas time, they would send a sleigh and horses in and pick up the workers and children and take them out to their house and have a party in their base. They had a finished basement,
Yeah.
and they had gave a party for their employees.
That was fun. So you went to one of those parties?
Yeah, I went. Remember, I got a hair ribbon.
Oh, that made it pretty special, huh?
Yeah.
So what's your feeling about Charlevoix overall?
I think it's great. I know. I think you asked me once before some of the changes. Wow, I was thinking about the other day. One of the changes is having to be so cautious about your children. I mean, I used to go down. There was my good friend lived down the hill from where I lived, and I'd go down there at when I was only 8 or 10 years old, and come home in the dark, never give it a thought. Now you wouldn't dare do anything like that. You have to be so careful. And of course, I guess it's good. I mean, just like when we came, the car seats we have to have.
Yes,
I mean,
the
when I
5-point
took my
harnesses.
kids, I just throw them in the back seat and take off. But now you can't do that. One thing I remember about Earl Young, at that day and age, going to Hawaii was really something out of this world, not like it is today. And I remember he and his wife took a trip to Hawaii, and my brother lived there. I mean, he stayed there after he was in the service. So Earl Young, when he went there, I guess called on my brother. And then when he came back, he invited us to come and see pictures. And of course, just looking at the pictures of Hawaii, I thought was wonderful for us. I mean,
Absolutely.
but
He did.
after that, I was there several times visiting my brother. So, but at that time, it was really something out of this world.
So what was it like when the summer people came up? You know, they came up either by train or boat or whatever. How did Charlevoix change when it happened?
Most of them came in the train, and of course the inn garage was there. They'd just get off the train at the depot and go up the steps and go to their hotel. And
How did the atmosphere of the town change? Because it was.
how did what?
How did the town change when everybody got here?
Well, I don't know. Everybody catered to them. We were very happy to have them. And of course, there was also a depot at Belvedere. So people would get off and go at the inn, and the the train would go across the bridge that used to be there, and then go
Can
to
you imagine?
Belvedere.
2 train depots in this
Yeah,
little small town. And it was, yeah.
Well, the people catered to them. They needed them.
Well, sure.
They
Well, even today, right?
They do anything.
What would we
for
do
the-
without the resorters in Charlevoix?
That's right.
our
There was no
economy.
There was no income. There was no
Yeah,
factories. Nothing.
right.
So did that keep it going through the Depression? Did people still come up here over the Depression period?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That kind of helped.
Uh-huh.
Wasn't that the era of the speakeasies and everything? And then down by Chicago Club, there was a casino
Oh yeah.
where it is said that some famous,
Oh,
infamous-
you mean the Colonial Club?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it isn't down by the depot. It's up farther.
right.
Oh, that was
On Meach Street.
That was
Yeah.
a real good place for. And no local people were allowed in there.
Right.
They had a man watching there. No local people could come, and there was big gambling. And in fact, I think once or twice it was raided. I think the police came and raided because they were
Yeah.
going against the law. But
I think they had tables in there that flipped over and became dining room tables when on the other side they were gaming tables. So
yeah. They
Yeah.
had served dinner.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Cook, his
Mr.
name
Cook,
was,
yep.
owned it.
Yeah.
But he was a one that played golf every day, and did the caddies ever loved to get him
Oh,
because
I bet.
he tipped very high. At one time up when I was working there, we had as many as 100 caddies. You know, they didn't have golf carts then, but
Right there on that course.
They'd have they'd come one by, they'd get a number, and
Right. I bet that was pretty devastating when Belvedere opened then.
yeah, well, yes, sure. Well, the north side really, I think they were mostly Jewish people lived on the north side. Wouldn't you agree?
Michigan Avenue.
Yeah, it used to be that way. And when the Belvedere opened, they wouldn't allow Jewish people to play there.
Isn't that something? Prejudices even then, huh?
But they changed their mind after a few years.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Seeing as how
Angie, can you talk a little bit about the Moonlight Gardens?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, sounds
That was, Moonlight Gardens had a big ball like this of I don't know, it was the sparkly stuff anyway.
like a strobe.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
and it would make all kinds. Well, there was a dance floor, and then there was a railing around, and that was when they charged 10 cents a dance.
Oh. 10
Did you
cents.
have dance cards that they had?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess you could buy it,
Uh-huh.
and then yeah, the fellas would buy it. The first 10 girls that went there got in free.
They were free, but they were not
Do you
cheap.
remember when this was?
Were you in
I
high
would
school?
say in 1929.
Okay.
So did you do some of those flapper dances?
Did I go? Yes, I went.
Were you like a flapper?
Yeah, well, I
With the fringe and all that?
Oh no.
No?
I just wore regular clothes, but you'd have to have a boy ask you to dance before you didn't get out there.
You probably
by
didn't
yourself.
have any trouble. I'm looking at some of the pictures.
You'd write down the names.
Did you and Bill go there?
Bill didn't dance.
Oh, so you played the field. with the
That
other
was when I
boys,
was that's when I was in high school.
huh? Okay.
And how about the Argonne? Do you have memories of the Argonne?
Oh yeah, I mean that was a very nice place. I don't.
They had a piano player or somebody for dancing
Oh.
too, didn't
I don't know.
That was before
We used
Breezy's
to-
time, huh?
I know when they first opened, Bill and I, it was after the boys were, they were in high school or maybe before high school. We used to go every Friday night. There was a special. I mean, for
All you can eat.
yeah, all you can eat or something, you know. And that was our time out.
I think it was $3.
Was it $3?
$3 for all
Yeah,
you eat.
and everything you could eat. That was just that one night. Yeah.
Did you ever, June Cross was telling me about Hilda having the Nautica restaurant. Did you ever eat there?
Yeah.
Where she made fish dinners?
I
Probably not.
don't know too much about that.
Maybe that was
Wait,
later.
you mentioned it there. I do remember the hush puppies.
Uh-huh.
You remember hush puppies?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can remember about that place.
Oh.
Coleslaw.
Oh, the coleslaw was real good, yeah.
Show me the pictures again.
The haunted house, Martha Ayers. You remember Martha Ayers' house?
No, I
You
don't.
know?
Tell me about that. That was
Was
really
that at
cute.
the top of the hill?
Yes.
Well, anyway, it was this old house that it sits up there at the corner of Halbert and State. That was that big old house of about 3 stories high. We always called that the haunted house.
Kind of walked way around it, huh?
Yeah. I mean, well, it wasn't like it was old. It was practically falling down. But people used to say they saw lights in there and all kinds of stuff like that. But I don't think it was.
Was that the house where they would go to a spot for planes?
Yes, that's right.
Oh.
It was a real. It was way up high,
Uh-huh.
3 or 4 stories high. Yeah, that's right. During the war, they had someone every night volunteered, went up there and watched for airplanes.
Did you have to have blackouts during that time where everybody had to keep their lights up?
No, did
No.
we?
No,
I don't remember. No,
Okay.
no. Yeah, that's right. They did go up there and watch for trains or for planes.
planes.
Never saw one.
Were you frightened during those times, about the war and everything? I know you were worried sick about Bill, I'm sure, being away from you and maybe in danger, but you didn't think that much about it?
No.
Okay. Just
I was
go-
too busy taking care of 2 and 4 years
I
old.
guess so.
All right, why don't you show me the picture? You just kind of turn around and face it towards me.
Okay. So, were you young and beautiful here?
I don't know
What is that
is.
picture of?
I don't know. Playing tennis, I guess. I don't know.
Tennis playing. And this is the picture of your
Uh,
cottage, which
uh-huh.
still is in Sequanota. And here's some pictures of you and Bill traveling.
Yeah.
And is this a family picture over here is that a family picture?
Yes.
Scott? Is that Scott?
Yeah, must be. Yeah. Bill must not have
Okay.
been gone by that time.
This poster was from your 100th birthday
Birthday,
celebration.
yeah.
Did you have a big party at that time?
Right. Out at the cottage.
Out at the cottage.
Yeah.
That must have been fun.
Yeah.
Is the bottom right one the hip house? Is that what we're looking at?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be the hip house. And then I think this picture here by my little finger, Rick, is a family shot with everyone in it, with Scott and Sam and the rest of them. The ones where she
Oh,
is,
there, up there is the whole family.
and there's the whole family, and I think this one is too, isn't it? This
Yeah.
one right there, yeah. So, and this is your high school graduation? High school graduation picture on top. The other one's with the crown. She tells me
I don't know what
different
that-
birthdays.
I don't know what
Different
that is.
birthdays, probably an 80th and a 90th, and who knows.
Oh,
The beat goes on.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
So-
what's your recommendation for the rest of the world?
Yeah.
What do we need?
Don't live to be 104 years old.
Why?
Cause
Why? Look how.
I 90 was enough. 90. I was still driving a car.
The car was the toughest thing then.
Yeah.
Giving up the car.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
Sort of like independence.
Yeah. It was.
But you're comfortable where you are.
Oh yes.
People come to
Yeah,
play
I'm
cards with
lucky.
you.
I'm lucky to have the place I have, but it's not like it used to be.
Well, I think we talked about the fact that it gets lonely because your friends,
Oh yeah.
Bill died in
80.
Yeah. And then one friend after another, I suppose, passes away, and it's kind of lonely feeling.
No,
but-
I was saying all my friends are gone.
Yeah.
No, we're still here.
Down here.
He's got lots of friends, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.